We bring you the latest edition of MBC News with me, Kumbukani Piri. Our top stories tonight. President Professor Mutharika describes National Intelligence Services as a vital tool for safeguarding national stability. Government upbeat on ensuring increased access to electricity supply to people in the country. And Malawians assured of government's commitment to ensuring seamless supply of petroleum products despite increased fuel prices. Well, I'm glad you could join us. Our top story tonight. President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika says national intelligence services carry a crucial role in good governance. He made the remarks at Kamuzu Palace in Lilongwe during the swearing-in of Director General of the National Intelligence Service, Major General Blaise Sayenda. Mwaim Tumodzi reports.
President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika has advised the newly sworn-in Director General of the National Intelligence Service to provide him with accurate and good intelligence information. He said bad intelligence results into bad political decisions.
So I'll give you all the support to make sure you effectively execute your role as Director General. I know in the past, intelligence sometimes has been misused or used for political purposes. I want you to refrain from that. I want you to give me correct, accurate intelligence. We have seen countries where bad intelligence has led to serious consequences, even unjust wars, because political leadership was given bad intelligence. I have to depend, to make a decision, a political decision, or any decision, I have to depend on the intelligence that I'm giving. And therefore, if you give me false intelligence, or inaccurate or bad intelligence, I'll make bad decisions. And that are not good for the country.
The president says intelligence is key in an era of rising cases of human trafficking, cybercrime, and money laundering. With the discovery of rare minerals in many parts of the country, Malawi has become a target for both investors and exploiters. The president said the country relies on good national intelligence to protect these resources.
As you know, that we now have minerals in this country with the help of God. We have discovered that Malawi has some of the best, most rare minerals in the world. So everyone now is coming to Malawi to try to get these minerals. Now people will be coming here disguised as investors. Some of these people are crooks. They're not investors. They're coming here to steal our wealth. And I'll make sure that intelligence should identify those people, the real serious investors and the crooks. To make sure that they don't steal our minerals. So I'll depend on intelligence.
President Mutharika appointed Major General Blaise Sayenda as Director General of the National Intelligence Service in October 2025. Sayenda is a seasoned military leader and a strategic security expert with experience in defense operations, strategic planning, and international security management. Mwaim Tumodzi, MBC News, Lilongwe.
The government has launched the Malawi Enterprise Development Fund, MEDEF, formerly the National Economic Empowerment Fund, NIF, with a renewed drive to recover billions of kwacha in unpaid loans and expand access to financing for Malawians. The ceremony held in Lilongwe also saw the unveiling of MEDEF's 2026 to 2030 strategic plan. McDonald Joyola reports.
The rebranding marks a fresh start for the institution, with authorities emphasizing transparency, accountability, and equal access to loans regardless of region or political affiliation. Minister of Finance Joseph Mwanamveka described the launch as a historic step towards empowering Malawians, particularly the youth, women, and rural communities.
The priority is for them to collect the 200 billion that has been given out. That is taxpayers' money. There's no reason that you can leave that money without collecting. Because once we do that, we are now punishing the taxpayer. we are punishing Malawians because that money is supposed to be revolved. But the other people also are supposed to benefit from that. So as I've said in the statement, the board, the management must make sure that that money is collected. It's not a gift, it's not a donation. Anyone who benefited from the 200 billion is supposed to pay back.
MEDEF board chairperson James Napambo said the fund will adopt group lending as a key strategy to improve repayment rates, strengthen accountability among borrowers.
Our principal collateral is when we lend to groups, those groups are our collateral. Because in the groups, the people will encourage each other to go and pay the loans. In the groups, they will remind each other to come and pay off the loans. So if we do that, it means that the groups are going to grow stronger. There are groups who have paid their money back, and when they come back to us, we give them bigger loans to ensure that their businesses grow from strength to strength.
And MEDEF Chief Executive Officer Kais Sadala admitted that the institution is currently facing financial challenges, including outstanding debts, which have delayed fresh loan disbursements.
So the president is saying he's the president for the whole country. This organization is organization for the whole country. This organization is using public resources, taxpayers' money, so it should benefit for everybody. That is why also we want that everybody that borrowed money from NIF must repay.
Meanwhile, authorities have since assured the public that strict measures will be implemented to ensure all borrowers repay their loans, warning that no defaulter will be spared. McDonald Chiwayura, MPC News, Lilongwe.
Minister of Finance, Economic Planning and Decentralization, Joseph Mwanamveka, says government remains committed to ensuring that it increases the number of people that have access to electricity. He made the remarks when he presided over the signing of a $23 million equivalent 44 billion kwacha agreements for the rehabilitation of Kapichira and Nkola B hydropower plants. Mwaim Tumodzi reports.
Minister of Finance, Economic Planning and Decentralization, Joseph Mwanamveka, says through the grant, the electricity generation company Genco will be able to provide sustainable electricity, which will likely support the 80 AM strategy of agriculture, tourism, mining and manufacturing.
This country cannot develop without power. We are talking about developing the four key sectors of the economy, starting from agriculture, mining, tourism and manufacturing. Those sectors cannot develop without power. So the signing of today's grant, one, it means it will improve access to power. It means a lot of Malawians will be able to access power. Two, it is going to improve value addition and manufacturing. And once we increase manufacturing and production, it also means more employment. And as we create more employment or more economic activity, it also means improvement in our gross domestic product, GDP.
On his part, African Development Bank country manager Macmillan Anyanu says the agreement of rehabilitation of Kapichira and Nkola B hydropower plants will protect the current electricity generation capacity by supporting the rehabilitation and maintenance of the plants.
Priorities of the administration is what we refer to as the ATMM, which is agriculture, tourism, mining, and manufacturing. And all of these sectors clearly require power. Power to be able to function effectively, power to be able to function, operate efficiently and profitably. And so what we're trying to do today is to ensure reliability and sustainability in the currently installed power generation capacity in Malawi. And we hope that we will be able to, working together with the Genco and the Ministry of Finance, will be able to implement this project quickly so that the results will begin to show.
Currently, only a quarter of the population in Malawi has access to electricity. The project will protect the current generation capacity of energy, which is at 556 megawatts, through rehabilitation and maintenance of Kapichira and Nkola B, which were partly destroyed by recent cyclones that hit the country. Mwaim Tumodzi, MBC, Lilongwe.
The Deputy Leader of the House, Shadrack Namalomba, says government does not support rushing the Public Accounts Committee inquiry into the Amaryllis report, stressing that some key individuals are yet to appear before the committee. Namalomba made the remarks in Parliament in response to concerns from members questioning why government appears to be avoiding the inquiry. He explained that government is pushing for a comprehensive and credible report, which can only be achieved once all relevant witnesses have testified before the committee.
We are aware that the committee passed a resolution that now they are ready to present the report to Parliament. But Malawians must know, those that have been following that inquiry, that there is one key person who has been mentioned, but we are told that that person has not made it to the inquiry. And it is the former secretary to the president and cabinet. And we are told that she is in South Africa in a hospital. But no evidence has been given to indicate that she is indeed sick, that she is indeed in hospital. Now, the government side would want the Public Accounts Committee not to rush that process. There is no reason to rush it. Let them exhaust all the key, interviewing all the key witnesses. Let them get to the bottom of this matter. And once they have ensured that they have exhausted, they have covered the key witnesses, then they can bring that report into the House. So at this meantime, we believe that there is true work to be done.
The Ministry of Gender, Children, Disability and Social Welfare has called upon stakeholders to integrate the guidelines and toolkit on social protection programs for women and girls with disabilities into their programming. The ministry says this will help ensure rural outreach programs are accessible and inclusive and continue supporting initiatives that prioritize marginalized groups. Minister responsible, Mary Navicha, made the remarks in Lilongwe during a dissemination conference of the Social Protection Guidelines and Toolkits, which the Pan-African Network Disabled Women in Africa, DIWA, has developed for women and girls with disabilities. Olive Peary has a report.
Women and girls with disabilities living in rural and hard-to-reach areas continue facing challenges such as limited mobility, inaccessible infrastructure, and discrimination in accessing social protection services. To address these challenges, the Disabled Women in Africa, DIWA, has developed guidelines and a toolkit to promote social protection for women and girls with disabilities in the country. Minister of Gender, Children, Disability and Social Welfare, Mary Navicha, says the guidelines and toolkit offer evidence-based solutions that can support policymakers, service providers and communities in making social protection systems more inclusive and accessible. Navicha has also emphasized that the ministry will help DIWA to implement the guidelines and toolkit.
We are mandated to ensure that all programs are being implemented on the ground. We've seen so many documents, we've seen proposals, concept notes on papers, but when it comes to implementation, it's very hard. So as a ministry, we have a responsibility to monitor the programs and also provide guidance and technical support to all NGOs, including DIWA.
In her remarks, Executive Director for Disabled Women in Africa, DIWA, Ruth Nkutumula, said the guidelines are intended to ensure that women and girls with disabilities can enjoy their rights and have access to various economic opportunities.
It is very important for us to launch this, and we are very happy that we have the Honorable Minister coming here to really reaffirm their commitment to ensuring that women with disability can continue to enjoy these rights, and even through these guidelines to bring that awareness, to bring that endorsement that these are really quite important and relevant documents.
Disabled Women in Africa, DIWA, says it will be providing grants ranging from $5,000 to $10,000 to support innovative projects that promote social protection programs for women and girls with disabilities. Olive Peary, MBC News, Lilongwe.
This is MBC News with me, Kumbukani Piri, and our sign language interpreter, Savita Wirima. A reminder of our top stories. President Professor Mutharika describes National Intelligence Services as a vital tool for safeguarding national stability. Government upbeat on ensuring increased access to electricity supply to people in the country. And Malawians assured of government's commitment to ensuring seamless supply of petroleum products despite increased fuel prices.
Izi ni mbewu zogwizana ndi kusintha kwa nyengo zopirira kuchilala ndipo zimalola zigawo zonse za dziko lino iphani makwacha komanso thisani njala kolima mbewu za Bigog 6. Bigog 6 ni mbewu ndende.
Welcome back to MBC News. Minister of Information and Communications Technology, Shadrack Namalomba, has assured Malawians that government is committed to ensuring seamless supply of petroleum products despite the recent increase in fuel prices. Namalomba was speaking in Lilongwe during a press briefing which he addressed with Minister of Energy, Jean Matanga, and Minister of Transport, Japi Muhango. We have details in this report by Isaac Jali.
At a media briefing in Lilongwe, Minister of Information Shadrack Namalomba emphasized that government is doing all it can to ensure fuel is available at all times. However, Namalomba warned against an unrealistic increase of prices of goods and services as a result of the recent fuel price increase. Namalomba stressed that government will not condone such tendencies and appealed to the media to be on the lookout. He went on to clarify that the upward revision of fuel prices has been necessitated by both domestic as well as external pressures, such as the war in Iran, which has affected supply. However, he reiterated that it was proper to effect the increases than to let Malawians suffer from disruptions of fuel supplies. For her part, Minister of Energy Jean Matanga said Malawians should not panic, as over 2 million litres of petrol is in transit, while about 17 million litres is also being loaded at various ports.
In terms of what is available in the country at the moment, on petrol, our reserves are at 798,000 litres. Diesel, we've got 1,928,000 litres. In transit, from Mozambique ports as well as Tanzanian ports consolidated, petrol we've got 2,014,000 litres. Diesel we've got 1,844,000 litres. Being loaded at the ports both in Tanzania and Mozambique, petrol we are loading 16,048,000. Diesel we are loading 16,670,000. In terms of stock days, for petrol, we are talking of 17.83 days. For diesel, we're talking of 27.78 days, stock days. So that's what we have as the fuels available.
She also clarified that although government has only responded to the prevailing effects of the Iran war, the previous administration also erred by removing road levies, which are critical in road maintenance. She further observed that the hike would help government repay 1.2 trillion kwacha, which the previous administration owed fuel importers. Matanga said failing to act would have led to serious consequences, including fuel shortage and re-emergence of the black market and a broader economic breakdown. In the long term, Matanga disclosed plans to construct additional fuel reserves so that Malawi should have a 2-month fuel cover of 120 million litres from the current 1-month cover of 60 million litres. Isaac Jali, MBC, Lilongwe.
Government has appealed for more relief support in order to reach the 17 billion kwacha target needed to assist people who were affected by recent floods in 23 councils. Chief Secretary to Government, Justin Saidi, made the appeal during the handover of 200 million kwacha from the Electricity Supply Corporation of Malawi, ESCOM. The Department of Disaster Management Affairs, DOTMA, has also received relief items from Sunbird Tourism Company. Details in this report by Austin Fukula.
Saidi said the donation that ESCOM has supported government is significant as it will help to alleviate sufferings of over 69,000 households affected by recent floods in the past 2 weeks.
It has come at the right time when we are experiencing floods, when we have shortage of food for our people, and with their support of 200 million Malawi kwacha, we'll be able to cover all those challenges that people that are affected by the floods are facing, people that may have inadequate food supply. It's an honor to us.
ESCOM Board Director Wilford Sabola says the donation is more than the corporate social responsibility of the company because supporting people who are affected by floods is an emergency.
The floods which we have experienced in this country is a national tragedy. As a national tragedy, it requires the intervention of all good well-wishers to come on board to help and assist government to alleviate the suffering of the people who are affected by these floods.
Also supporting the cause is Sunbird Tourism Limited, which has donated blankets, bags of maize, sugar and utensils. Temwa Kanjaza, who is head of sales, marketing and distribution at the company, says the relief items will support 250 families.
Sunbird is a sustainable, enshrined organization, and in doing so, we really look at not only profit issues, but people issues, as well as planet issues. And so looking at the communities that we do business in and at large, when we see that they're in crisis, it is incumbent upon us to rise up and support and rally towards the efforts.
Commissioner for Department of Disaster Management Affairs, DOTMA, Wilson Molen, held the company for its quest to complement government's efforts in reaching out to flood survivors.
We are already on the ground. Some partners have come forward, like you've seen, regardless that the budget has not yet been confirmed, but because people understand that out there people are suffering and they need immediate assistance. That's why we're seeing all this support coming forward.
At least 34 people died due to recent floods, which affected 69,000 households, displacing at least 6,000 households. Austin Fugula, MBC News, Lilongwe.
Salome Mbewe, not her real name, aged 17, is one of more than 200 girls in Cheo rescued from child marriage and reintegrated into school. This achievement is the result of a collaborative effort between child protection committees, local leaders and the Abwenzi Laana program, supported by Save the Children, to combat child marriage and teenage pregnancies. Austin Kajipea has been following the story.
Salome Mbewe from the group village head Akubirira and traditional authority Makwangwala in Cheo was rescued from marriage after previously dropping out of school due to pregnancy. Now back in Form 3, Salome is optimistic about her future. Her primary goal after completing her education is to become a nurse to serve her community.
Buzana nditandiza amene ndinali bamavudo.
Through the project, I received assistance after giving birth and was able to return to school. I am now performing much better academically.
Salome and many more other girls were rescued through the establishment of local child protection committees. Alon Kanyoza, a child case worker, explains that by collaborating with traditional leaders, parents, and the Abwenzilana initiative by Save the Children, they have successfully brought many girls back to the classroom.
The intervention is working well. Local leaders and parents have embraced the concept, leading to the rescue and the reintegration of many boys and girls, and eventually keeping more students in school.
Brandon Makwiza, head teacher at Livaro Primary School, observes that child protection component has significantly reduced dropout rates in the district.
Previously, we had the great number of dropout before this intervention. As of now, I can confirm that 257 learners come back from school just because of this intervention.
Esther Gama is the project manager for Save the Children.
School dropout has been very high, and that's also one of the reasons why there have been a lot of child marriages. So we aim at making sure that the children themselves understand their rights, but also the families are supported and protected to make sure that they support their children's education.
The objective of the Abwenzi Lana program is to ensure that children, particularly girls, are protected from sexual violence and harmful cultural practices. Austin Kachipeya, MBC News, Ncheo.
Well, that item also wraps up this edition of MBC News. A reminder of our top stories. President Professor Mutharika describes National Intelligence Services as a vital tool for safeguarding national stability. Government upbeat on ensuring increased access to electricity supply to people in the country. And Malawians assured of government's commitment to ensuring seamless supply of petroleum products despite increased fuel prices. Keep up to date with our news on our digital platforms by simply scanning the QR code at the top right corner of your TV screen. You've been with me, Kumbukani Piri, and our sign language interpreter tonight was Savita Wirima. Thanks for watching and good night.